Hi, it's Andy Lockwood from Lockwood College Prep, and today I want to talk about 3 horrible self-inflicted wounds, mistakes that people make in the financial aid process. So, when you're applying for aid, there's 2 main forms. There are others that are possibly out there. There's the FAFSA and the CSS Profile. Every college takes the FAFSA, that stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And roughly 300 or 400 colleges require an additional form called the CSS Profile, which is twice as long and 10 times as difficult as the FAFSA. But mistake number 1 is oversharing on either or both financial aid applications. So what I mean by oversharing is the forms and the directions to these financial aid application forms are very specific in terms of what you should be putting down. So where a lot of people make a mistake is on the FAFSA, there is a question about your assets, the net worth of the family who's applying to college. And it says very specifically in the directions, here is what is included, and here is what's excluded on the FAFSA. So you should be including your investment accounts like mutual funds, stocks, bonds, etc., money you have in the bank, such as checking, savings, and all that. But then if you look in the directions, it says here is what should not be included. And there's, a fairly medium-sized list in there. But one area where people overshare and therefore shoot themselves in the foot when it comes to their eligibility for the money that frankly they deserve and need to comfortably afford college is they will then include, when they're answering this question, their retirement accounts, like their 401k or their 403b or you name it, IRAs. On the FAFSA, it says very clearly, buried in the directions, which, by the way, when I assemble furniture or something from IKEA, I hate the directions, right? So I understand the impulse to not read the directions, but don't do that here. They will over-include or overshare their retirement accounts. And when you put your 401k into this question on the FAFSA, what's the value of your investments? What you're doing is automatically, practically eliminating yourself from any type of consideration for financial aid if you have a sizable retirement account. And by the way, this is not a laziness thing or a sloppiness thing. I remember years ago reviewing a financial aid application that a gentleman that I knew who was the CEO of a publicly traded brokerage company. He filled it out and he made this exact mistake. He over-included his sizable 401k. So don't overshare by including your retirement accounts or anything else that should be excluded. Read the directions. If you're going to do this yourself, read the directions very carefully. Don't underestimate how much time it's going to take. All right, number 2. When should you file these applications? A lot of people think, well, I'm going to apply to college and then afterward I'll apply for aid. No, the deadline to file is, by the way, not a universal deadline, but it is not after you get into college. Each college has multiple deadlines. Some are for admissions, such as if you're applying regular decision or early decision or something else, early action. Those are one set of deadlines. But when it comes to financial aid, there are other deadlines or priority financial aid deadlines that you've got to make sure you don't miss. Some schools will cut you some slack if you miss it by 1 or 2 days, but if you blow off these financial aid applications completely or send them in a month or 2 late, you're not going to get a full and fair read or evaluation of your FAFSA, your CSS profile, whatever else you are submitting there. And if I had to choose one last major mistake that we see people commit in a financial aid process, it would be this one, the number 3, not applying at all. A lot of people feel like, what, why bother? I'm not going to qualify, so why go through the hours and hours and lost weekends of completing these forms, which includes gathering all the information, reading the rules, etc. So they don't bother. And sometimes that's okay, but many times it's not okay because number 1, occasionally, probably more than occasionally, people think they're not going to qualify, but they actually do. So they rule themselves out unnecessarily. Number 2, some colleges require you to complete financial aid applications, even if you're only going to be eligible for merit aid, which has nothing to do with your income and savings. It's just got everything. It's about everything else, like your students' credentials, grades, extracurriculars, SAT or ACT scores, that type of thing. So when in doubt, do the applications, because you might need them for merit. You might not need to submit them because you won't qualify, but you might qualify. Sometimes most of the time actually, we recommend to our super high income, very affluent families that they too should submit the applications. Of course, we do them for them. That's one of our services. But we recommend that they get submitted because they will show financial strength, which can only help a child's ability to get in to college. Sometimes it's neutral, but sometimes it's helpful. And whether or not you or I think that's unfair, that's just the way it is. So I prefer to live in a land of reality. And I hope you're finding these tips to be helpful, honest, stuff you're not hearing anywhere else, valuable. If you do think so, please feel free to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new tips. I think you'd be very smart to do that. And if you want help with this process, we are in, one of the things we do is we help with the whole financial aid process. We do the applications, we help you strategize to get more money if it's possible. We negotiate with the colleges. So if you want help with that, check us out on our website, lockwoodcollegeprep.com. You can book an appointment to speak with me or someone on my team about your situation. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the process, we have a free webinar that is on that page also, lockwoodcollegeprep.com, and a free report called How to Hide Your Money from the Financial Aid Office Legally and Ethically. That is on the same site, lockwoodcollegeprep.com/report. Okay, that's it for now. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.